Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Mr. Roper and we are going to talk about the zero product property today. So one thing to know before we get into the zero product property, we have to know what factored form is. So recently we've been uploading some videos on how to multiply binomials. So basically multiplying and factoring are the inverses of each other, right? We take two binomials and we multiply them together to end up with a trinomial, and we could take a trinomial and factor it to get it back down to two separate binomials, okay? So factored form is when a polynomial is in factored form, a polynomial is in factored form when it is written as a product of its factors. So the key word there is product, and we know that means multiply, right? So the zero product property tells us if the product of two real numbers is zero, then at least one of the numbers is zero, right? So think about it. If I have two things multiplied together and the answer is zero, well, I had to have multiplied by zero to end up with a solution of zero. So in order for us to solve polynomial equations, we want to set them equal to zero. So we want to get the equation in factored form, and then we want to set it equal to zero so that we can use this zero product property. So we can use this to solve polynomial equations, and once we do that, the solutions are known as the roots of the polynomial equation. All right, so here we go. Three examples. The first one is x times x minus 3, and it is equal to 0. So these are examples that are already solved or already set equal to 0 for us. Looks like we forgot to do that on the last one. There we go. So all we have to do is take each of the monomials or each of the polynomials and set them equal to 0. Okay, so if I'm multiplying x times x minus 3 and the product is 0, then either x has to be 0 or x minus 3 has to be 0. So x minus 0, that is already solved for me. And for the x minus 3, we just add 3 to both sides and we get x equals 3. Okay, so our two solutions or our two roots for number 1 are x is equal to 0 or x is equal to 3. For number 2, we're going to say x minus 4 has to be 0 or x minus 5 has to be equal to 0. So here we can add 4 and we get x equals 4. And here we add 5 and we get x equals 5. So for number 2, x is either 4 or x is 5. Now for number 3, notice it looks a little bit different. This is the square of a binomial. So essentially this is x minus 6 times x minus 6. And we're setting it equal to 0. So we have the same exact polynomial. So this is going to give us what's called a repeated root. So we're going to say x minus 6 is equal to 0. Technically we could say or x minus 6 is equal to 0. But that's the same thing. So once we add 6 to both sides, we're going to get x is equal to 6. And we're going to say since this happened 2 times, this is a repeated root. Okay, and that's how you use the zero product property.